There was a weekend in Brussels, actually.
A weekend in Brussels.
I remember fondly.
Yeah. I bet you do.
Tell us all about it, Sean. Just look into that camera right there. And, Sean, let's hear these stories. So.
I could, but Joe, you
tell
it so much better, Joe.
We have an incredible
it's sort of a
tradition of prank culture among many of us.
Yes, I've heard about
it. You know what's happening
pranks
right now is I'm actually turning the dial that we have here to both sides. It's
awesome.
You can actually tell the guys who grew up with brothers who love to prank each other.
Right. Because every time we go to do a prank, Sean's like,
not interested.
Not doing it. Leave me out of it.
Not interested. Not.
From every moment. And then once the prank is happening, he'll come up to you and be like, I have nothing.
I don't even know what
to do with this. Do not, because once you begin into that culture, you can't get out of it.
So
right? It just and then it escalates and escalates and escalates. So Sean is constantly like, I don't want to be a part of it. Once it's happening, I'm not in this.
No. Pranks.
I don't have brothers.
Yeah.
Right. I grew up with three sisters.
You're missing out on a great time, though.
Sean, I'm with you, buddy.
You shut your mouth. You shut it, horse lord. David. You shut it.
I will tell you a fun thing. We don't have to stick on this, but we can. But Joe, the last time Joe checked into a convention hotel, it was actually in the Netherlands. It was in Veldhoven. He walks up to the front desk. He asks to speech. He actually asks to speak with the front desk manager.
Yeah.
I need to speak to someone who can get something done here. The person comes up. May I help you? He's like, yes. Do you know what a prank is?
Oh my God.
And they said, yes. He said, listen, I'm here for a convention. There are people who have traveled all over the world to be here this weekend to prank me.
Yeah.
I need you to just do a couple things. First of all, do not give anyone, even if they have a name badge that says Joe Cerruti, they might even have identification, that do not give my key to my room to anybody.
Challenge accepted.
Yeah. And they got into my room. They got into my room
and did
several times.
Did you change your room? Was that the convention?
No. I didn't change my room. That was in Vegas. Yeah. No. The trip started where I remember we went out and had a great night. We went to a few different bars and we went to a casino. We got back really, really late that night. It was the day that we came in. So, we were jet lagged as heck.
Travelers.
We got in and we were staying in this unbelievable historic home. It was like a 4-story townhouse that had this.
This is in Belgium.
Yes. They had this incredible brick basement, and I was the only one staying in the basement. And I remember I walked into the room and I started putting on something to sleep, and I took my shirt off. And as I was taking my shirt off, I saw in my bag there was a hidden camera, and I was like, I saw it immediately, and I was like, what is this? And then my guard was up the rest of the time. And the story is very long, and honestly, it could be its own podcast because it takes 2 hours to tell the story. But
it's a whodunit.
Dr. Chris Peterson slept in a closet that night.
Correct.
To wait a few hours for me to be dead asleep, and then woke up. I didn't sleep that night whatsoever because I knew something was about to happen. There was a hidden Bluetooth speaker in the room. There were things going on.
Oh, yeah.
There were things going on. So when we left there to go to the convention, I walked right up to that lady and I was like, listen, you can write something. Do not print a key, even if it's me that comes up. I'll sleep in the lobby. Don't put anything. Don't allow anyone to print another room key. And they did it.
Fast forward. Phil did it. The next scene is McEachran with his feet up in your room ordering room service.
No, he didn't order
the safe open.
Exactly. He didn't order room service. He called down and he said, hello, this is Joe Cerruti. I forgot the combination to my safe. Can someone come up and open my safe? And he opens my judging papers, kicks his feet up. I'm downstairs emceeing the Saturday night show. I'm in the middle of emceeing the Saturday night show, and I see Horse
Stand
Lord
up, walking out the back of the door.
and
Yeah.
Chris Peterson, they stand up, they look me in the eye, they're like, "We'll see you, buddy. See ya."
nowhere to go. There's nothing you can do.
I was like, the minute the show was over, I bolt back to my room, and I'm like, "What are they gonna do? Put my underwear up a flagpole or something like that?"
I was nowhere near this.
Yeah,
KJ.
you were not.
I didn't have
Sean had
anything
nothing
to do with
You're
it.
still denying it.
Well, they got
the prank's over.
I get back to my room and my passport is gone, and I'm like, okay,
You guys
all
are
right.
brutal.
This escalated quickly.
So I mean, and I'm telling you, this is just 1/10 of
my
the trip.
gosh.
It was
Y'all are brutal, man.
pretty wild.
I'll never forget the final. Things started to open at the final luncheon. It's like, hey, we're all about to go home. Can I have my passport? And you're just like, so, oh, you're going to get your passport plus,
hey guys,
a
is this
little
over
extra
yet?
something. But
Can I go home?
I remember someone from the hotel staff knocking on the door,
Yes.
not wanting to interrupt the closing ceremony
Right.
of this luncheon, and said, "Excuse me, I have a package from Brussels." I have a package from Brussels.
And it was what I needed to give back to get my passport back, and I gave it to the front desk, and I had them bring
You
it
had
in all
taken,
wrapped up.
You had the camera,
I had the camera and
iPad.
an iPad.
and I appreciate
Yeah.
getting my camera back.
Yeah.
But didn't the alliance against Joe start to break down? Like, didn't
Yes.
at one point you said something like,
extraordinary.
"I think I should hold everyone's passports because he's
Yeah.
going to try and get back." And then
No.
they were like, "Wait a minute, did we actually
Wait
see
just
that he
a
had
minute."
Joe's passport?" And they all started to.
What happened was, so I got Joe's passport, which is great. By the way, that's a fatal error.
I know.
a lot of power in that.
That is a
The only mistake, honestly, I kept
was.
staying ahead of you every
you
step
did.
of the way,
Yeah.
except for that.
It
That was the biggest
extraordinary.
mistake.
Yeah.
One of the most special things, though, before we called it, we left that luncheon, and most everybody was leaving, but we said, "Hey, let's stay one more night. We'll head back," because I think we knew we're gonna need one more night.
recovery.
We're gonna have to unpack this.
Yes, so we did. We
because
went.
no one knew how I was staying
right.
ahead of the game. No one
Yes.
knew who was trustworthy and not.
So,
So we needed to unpack
by the
all of
end
it.
of the
They're
luncheon.
questioning double agents.
Oh
and-
yeah.
Nobody
So-
trusted anybody.
By the end of the luncheon, I think all the cards were on the table as far as everything had been returned.
It was
at
all
this
done,
point.
yeah.
So it was like, hey, let's say our goodbyes to all the other folks heading home. Then the six of us will head to the pub, and we'll sit around a table and we'll just go around the agenda, the time, and just like,
Talk
where
it
did
through.
everything happen? And when that happened,
At the very end,
I was like, hey, you guys, and just I slid my phone in the middle of the
Oh.
table and I hit record. So I actually have the audio
Yeah.
of a 3-hour
And
unraveling.
that's what the rest of this podcast is going to be. Thanks for
David, hit play.
Go. Yeah.
Patreon.
Yeah, that'll be a Patreon reward
Oh
right
my
there.
It's just everybody's, no, you did not. Well, I did. Yes, that was it. You just unpacked it and just had a great time. And there was a lot of, there was a mutual respect. There was, wow, that was a good one.
Yeah,
That was
yeah.
It crossed country, lines, and
it was a good bit of fun. Yeah.
In all fairness, I did after all was said and done, I did sleep that night with my desk pushed up against the door. Even though all was said and done and we were all ready to go home, the
trauma.
I did push the desk up against the door before I
it.
went to
What-
bed that night.
do you remember what was hanging on your door handle, on the outside your door handle when you were leaving? You looked, and what was there hanging on the door handle? Do you remember?
No.
a little gift.
Plastic bag. There was a little gift inside. Do you remember what it was?
Was it a Westie?
It
The
was.
nectar of the
It
gods.
was a Westie.
It was. A bottle.
Was that you?
I had a spare. Oh, I felt bad. I felt bad for you.
A Westie is a Westletter, and
Yeah, West
the guy who didn't even do anything felt bad.
I was
Genuinely
observing,
did.
like,
he hated it.
Joe
He
was
didn't
mad
want to
that
be
anybody
anywhere
would-
near it.
somewhere in this, he actually
you feel
judged,
any regret?
evaluated, and had an unbelievable convention as a somewhere in the middle of this. We
was a
honored and
barbershop
served
convention.
the people of
my God.
Holland Harmony.
Your hardlining must be so stiff.
So David,
Just stressed to the max.
David, did you feel any regret for your actions in this?
unbelievable.
What gift
pride.
did you leave, Joe?
I did not tip the security guard
Oh,
to get the safe open.
And you regret that.
I regret that.
he did though. He got the security officer to open the safe.
It would have been great if you'd have tipped him with
I'm
Joe's
Joe
money
Cerruti.
in the bag.
But this whole thing began months before. You and Tremac were hatching a plan to have him detained at immigration, right?
No, this was oh boy,
Oh, wow.
this
Yes.
is bad. Well, the whole story's bad, but
This is bad.
This is where we draw
This is the bad part. Okay.
Right now,
All right.
Passports are no problem.
it was Mr. Gifford and I, and so Matt had some contacts, I think, with consulate or something.
Yes.
The embassy.
Yep.
The embassy, and so
David, can you pull your mic down just a little?
the original plan was that at the Airbnb where we were going to put a bag of oregano in Joe's suitcase, and then have the police come in and arrest him
Patreon
because they found it,
to get access.
and then take him down to the station. And there was a great plan, which I cannot talk about here.
Wasn't there like
because-
an actor who was going to play a police officer?
That's correct.
Yeah.
That's correct.
Gosh.
And so we.
At what point do you go, this is too far?
Well, I'll tell you.
It never reached that point.
It's a good
kind of
question.
like
Further the
Steve.
better.
David's mind.
It's kind of like Steve would look at you and you're like, we're going to do a whole set about
Vegetables, right?
Yeah.
And Steve's like,
Hear me out.
don't you think this is
I've got this idea.
Promise, this is going to win
Have we
international.
jumped the shark yet?
Oh
Like,
my god.
So here's where
If
it
you
went
knew
to.
how many times that conversation happened over
I
the
do.
years.
I do know. Please, David.
Here's where it went too far is when the person at the embassy said no.
Sir, right? We can't do that.
Yeah, they explained the
illegal.
repercussions for impersonating an officer.
And that was
they
it?
were like,
Oh
we
my
we
gosh.
we
Literally,
can't-
we
we
can't
will
do it.
not do that.
So when the
But it
person
would be
from
really
the-
funny. Come on.
It's hilarious.
Steve, I'm stressing just thinking about it. I'm stressed about the prank. I can't participate in this.